So today we're going to run through a few very simple demonstrations which will showcase some of the new Integration Bus FixPack 7 features which became generally available at the end of November. To start with, I'm going to use a local Integration Bus deployment on my laptop here to showcase our new Kafka connectivity. We're going to walk through a simple scenario involving the Message Hub service on Bluemix. Message Hub provides an IBM managed Kafka capability as a cloud service. And so before I describe the other windows on this page, I'm just going to move across to my web browser. And here we're looking at the Message Hub dashboard, where you can see that my demo system has a handful of topics defined. We're going to be using one of these, which is named Stock Price. And this topic allows applications to send and receive publications which contain updates to the stock price of a fictitious company. So switching back to my desktop here, you'll see that I already have a few applications running. In the top left corner, I have a simple Java application which regularly publishes very simple Kafka messages to the cloud, approximately once each second. And as you can see, the stock starts at $100. Using the buttons, I've then got the power to change the current price. At the bottom of the screen, I've got another simple Java application running, which is consuming the stock price updates. You can see that this shows the Kafka offset for each message and also contains the message data itself, which is a very simple snippet of JSON data which declares an object named price, and that has an integer value carrying the price. The other window on the left of my screen here is a webcam which is currently pointing at my mobile phone. So the idea of this demo is that IBM Integration Bus is going to use a simple message flow to receive the same data from the stock price application, and then if the stock price drops below $100, I'm going to get the flow to alert the user with a text message sent using SMS. For example, I might then go off and buy a bunch of stock because a strike price of less than $100 symbolizes good value for my purchase. So, with that idea in mind, before we actually run through the scenario, I'm going to jump into an Integration Bus Toolkit session, and I'll describe in more detail how the message flow works. There are three nodes in my flow: a Kafka consumer, which receives publications from the stock price topic, a compute node to filter the data and which decides when to propagate onto the SMS node, and then finally the SMS node, whose job is to send the text message. The Kafka consumer has a couple of properties allowing it to connect to the Message Hub service on Bluemix. The topic name means the Integration Bus only receives content published on the stock price topic, and the Bootstrap server property defines the host and port which we should use to connect to the Message Hub Kafka broker. I've given a value to the consumer group property, but it's not really important because we're not load balancing here, just single threading for this scenario. On the Security Protocol tab here, we're defining SASL, or Simple Authentication and Security Layer, combined with SSL encryption. And then on the Input Message Parsing setting, we're telling the flow to interpret the messages we receive as JSON data. We'll come back to the compute node in a moment, but the last node in the flow is very straightforward. Here we only need to specify the mobile phone number, which is going to receive the text message, and a hard-coded message which we're going to send as the message body. As you can see in our scenario, we're letting the user know that the stock has dropped below $100. Now moving to the compute node, I'll just open up the ESQL here so we can see the code. And here we begin by declaring three variables. One is to cache the stock price in memory, and that's defined here as a shared integer. And then the second one is going to take the current stock price from the inbound JSON message. And then the third value is going to declare a trend. In here we actually set up the trend in the next stanza of code. And this piece of logic dictates that when we receive a message, we know that it will either contain the same value that we got last time around, or the share price will have gone up by $1 or down by $1. By comparing the current stock price to the last cache value, the trend will be defined to be equal or going up or going down. The next section updates the cached stock price to be the current stock price. We do that inside an atomic block there. That's a best practice for shared variables. And finally, we only send on the message if the stock price is trending downwards, and only when it has just dropped beneath the $100 threshold. that actually avoids a storm of text messages when the price remains low for a period of time. So back in my full screen display here, the first thing I'm going to do is execute a drag and drop deploy of the flow that we've just been building. I've actually got my integration bus set up here with the visual debugger attached, and I've placed a breakpoint inside my flow just after the compute node and just before the SMS node, just to slow things down slightly when we run the scenario. I'm now going to move to my stock application in the top left corner here and click on the button to increase the stock price, and you can see it come round in the ticker there. We're now up to $101. If you view the Java app at the bottom of the screen, that reflects the $101. I've increased again, and now we're up to $102. I'm now going to go back down in the other direction and start coming back down towards our threshold. So that's down to 101. If I click again to decrease, it should show $100, and then the moment of truth, there's the decrease to $99, and great things have worked. We can see that the breakpoint has been fired there. I'm going to change perspective, and you can see my breakpoint with a little yellow halo around it just before the SMS node. If I click the flow to completion, that will release the flow, and with a bit of luck we should get a text message in a few seconds. There it fires on the webcam. You can see the text has come through successfully. Just reach across and click it there. You can see that the text matches what we had set on the node as the hard-coded value. So that's brilliant. We've successfully shown that demo. Just to show that it wasn't a fluke, I can now increase the stock price up again. So I've now gone back above my threshold up to $100, and I'll immediately plummet again beneath the threshold of 99, so we're down below $100 now. And again, hopefully that should fire the breakpoint. There we see it. It's turned yellow. And if I press the play button, that will continue to completion, and again we'll wait for the text message. There it is, the text message has come through. Good stuff. So the very last thing I'd like to share with you on this recording is a view here of our web user interface integration bus. What I'm doing here is just going to the message flow, and I'm turning on statistics for the flow that we've been interacting with. By switching to this statistics panel, what we can then see in real time are the statistics that tell us the message rate, average elapsed time and CPU time and so on for the flow involved. And this is just to show that as there is constant traffic going through that message flow, then we will get some meaningful data out in these charts which come embedded with the product. So to just summarize, while this refreshes in a moment the more up-to-date values, to summarize what we've seen today is our new Kafka capability, which came in the release of FixPack 7 out a few weeks ago. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.